Today in Capechi's Corner, it's day 1 for the lesson points, lines, and planes, and in today's lesson we're going to look at the terms sometimes, always, and never. First we have to define what these mean. So when I'm talking about the word always, we mean that it happens every time. Happens every time. So for instance, Thursday always comes after Wednesday. If I'm looking at the word sometimes, it means it may happen, but it may not happen. So it may happen, but it doesn't always happen. We can say that sometimes it rains on Saturday. So that's true. It rains sometimes on Saturday, but it doesn't rain every Saturday. And the last word we're going to talk about is the word never, and that means it doesn't happen at all. It doesn't happen at all. So if I say Wednesday never comes after Friday, that would be a true statement. And looking at our first statement, we have 2 points, and then we need to know whether we're going to use sometimes, always, never, lie in exactly one line. So let's think about this. If I had 2 points, and I were going to connect them with a line, they look like that. If I were to draw another line, it would be right on top of it, because 2 points always lie in exactly one line. I can only get them in that single line. Let's look at the next example. 3 points, and again, always, sometimes, or never, lie in exactly one line. Well, 3 points makes things a little bit different. So I can have my 3 points right in a line. We call that collinear. Or I can have 3 points not on a line, and we call that non-collinear. So we might have the same rule for both or the different rules for both. So the collinear points, they are definitely exactly in one line. If I were to draw a line between them, I would connect them all, and if I would do the same thing again, the line would match that line exactly. Non-collinear, however, I can't get them in one line. So although this statement is true for collinear, it's not true for non-collinear. So this is one of those times where I'm going to say sometimes, where it happens sometimes, but it doesn't happen every time. Our next example says 2 intersecting planes, and again, sometimes, always, never, intersect in exactly 1 point. Well, we have to think about the word planes. Planes are, it's a surface that goes on without end. So when they actually intersect, they're not going to intersect in a point, they're actually going to intersect in a line. So this word is going to be never. So let's read that statement again. 2 intersecting planes never intersect in exactly 1 point because 2 intersecting planes intersect in a line. The next statement says 2 intersecting lines, and again, sometimes, always, never, intersect in exactly 1 point. Well, they're telling us the lines are intersecting. So if I draw 2 intersecting lines, doesn't matter if I have them intersect here, if I draw another example and they intersect over here, regardless of where I have them intersect, they do intersect in a point. So this 2 intersecting lines always intersect in exactly 1 point. In our last example, it says 2 lines, and again, sometimes, always, never, intersect in exactly 1 point. The difference between this example and the last example is my beginning statement says 2 lines. It doesn't necessarily say that they're intersecting. So although I could make the lines intersecting, then they would definitely intersect in 1 point, like we just discussed. But I can have 2 lines that are parallel. So in that case, they don't intersect at all. So this is one of those cases where the word sometimes is going to be our best use. So 2 lines sometimes intersect in exactly 1 point, because if the lines are intersecting, they intersect in a point. If the lines are parallel, they don't intersect at all. So sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not true.